Today is Wednesday, June 15th. I got my results Monday night, so would have been June 13th. So it turned out to be invasive carcinoma, so it is positive for cancer. One of the pathology reports came back, which states that it is that type of cancer. We are still waiting for the rest of the pathology to come back to kind of determine what stage of cancer it is. So whether that's stage 1, 2, 3, etc. But they do know for sure that it is invasive mammary carcinoma. So I did have a phone call from my general surgeon on Monday night, kind of just went over everything, talked about the results, talked about some of the upcoming options, depending on the next results of the pathology. It could go either way. So you could have surgery first, then some sort of treatment like chemo or radiation. So everything is still a little bit up in the air. I am going for an MRI appointment tomorrow. So that will scan both sides. They inject a dye so they can see everything and everywhere. So they can see if it is anywhere else, if it's in the other side, if it's gone into the lymph nodes, which is your armpit area, so that it just gives everybody a better understanding. Whereas a biopsy doesn't really give you a whole lot of information. So that's kind of where we're at right now. As you know, like I kind of already been mentally preparing for this. I feel like because of where I work and everything that I know regarding this, I have kind of known inside that it was going to be this outcome. So, not to say that I have it together and I am, not upset. I have my moments where I have a complete breakdown and I start crying. And then I have my moments where I think I'm really grateful and I'm really, really lucky that if it was going to happen, it happened now. And it happened where I'm still working for the amazing surgeon and I'm still getting the best treatment because I'm still working there. And I'm not getting special treatment, but I'm for sure getting amazing treatment. And I get to choose, who I want to be my doctor and who I want to operate on me. And I feel really good about the whole thing. So yeah, it's hard and it's bad news, but I feel good that it's happening when it's happening. And I would not want this to happen 10 years from now when my doctor's retired or when I'm not working in this field anymore. Maybe I, don't think about it as much, but I am really lucky that I'm getting to be fully aware of the process. That being said, sometimes I feel like I know too much because of where I work and because of what I see on a day-to-day for the last 5 years. My doctor is a plastic surgeon and she specializes in breast reconstruction for cancer patients. So the last 5 years, those are our patients. And it's hard to explain the journey as working there in the office. But you meet these women at their very vulnerable stages in their life, which is kind of where I'm at right now. They have either just found out that they have breast cancer and they are in the middle of trying to figure out a surgical plan or waiting on results, kind of like me. So we meet these women and they come in, and if they end up having surgery with us, they are with us for almost 2 years sometimes. So they'll have their immediate reconstruction surgery, then we follow up with them kind of on a week-to-week basis. Sometimes they need their tissue expanders filled, so they come to the office and we do that for them. So over this journey, I get to know these women. We're constantly emailing each other back and forth, talking on the phone. You watch them go through chemo, and you watch them go through really hard times, and sometimes on the phone I'm the person that answers and they break down and cry, and that's just my job. And I really have a hard time watching them go through it. Now at the end, when all their treatments are finished and they're fully expanded and they've had their second surgery where they have implants now and they're going on their way to be healthy and start their life back, sometimes it feels bittersweet. There's been a few patients where they'll come up and they'll say, well, that's it. I don't need any more follow-ups. And I get kind of sad. I'm happy for them, but I get sad. It's like, well, I've seen you so much for the last 2 years and you don't need to come back. You don't need to see me anymore, and I don't need to talk to you anymore. And it's kind of like this farewell, like, you did it. Like, I really hope I don't have to see you again, obviously, because then that means something's wrong. But yeah, it's a journey. And then to just think I will be that woman. And so I know what's ahead of me, and I have really, really great support, and I have an amazing partner, and I have amazing friends, and I think that's super important because I have seen these women go through this, and some of them go through it alone, and some of them, their partners leave them halfway through because it's too hard for them. I'm not worried about that with my situation, but I do know how much it impacts everyone around you, and it's not just happening to me. And I know that, whether or not everyone around me knows it or is aware of how much it's actually going to change or impact them, I'm aware of it. So I am making steps to kind of get ahead of it as much as I can. I have a therapist. I see her. I actually was lucky enough to see her Monday night after I got my results, which was just a lucky coincidence. But I talked to her about everything, and I think it's a really important time to be fully honest with every emotion and every thought that's going through your head, because there's a lot of them, and it feels scrambled, and it feels like 1 minute I'm being completely selfish and thinking about me and being bald or losing my breasts or losing that spark or whatever it is that makes me a woman, and then I get sad about it. Then I also have thoughts where I feel guilty for doing this to my partner or doing this to my children. And then you know that you are changing their life forever. Their life will never be the same. Those are the things that go through my head, whether they're right or wrong. It's kind of nice to have a therapist or a counselor or whoever to voice those out too, because it's a lot, and your support will say things to you like, don't worry about me, just focus on yourself and we're gonna be fine. But at the end of the day, no one is fine. Everybody is affected from this in one way or another. So having people around, even thinking not just about my support people, but who's the support people for my partner, who's the support people for my daughter and for my son. So kind of thinking ahead and maybe making lots of notes and writing down ideas as they come, or anytime you tell someone what's going on, the automatic response is, let me know if you need anything. And it may not come to you today or in a month, but those people don't just say that, they mean it. And I think that's when you really need to reach out and ask for help from your friends and your support. I have a hard time with this. I have a hard time asking for help, but I need to be more comfortable with it. And when people say, let me know what I can do, I will probably take them up on that at some point. Whether it's come and take the kids out for a day, or come and drop food off at the door, or you know what, give my partner a call and see if he wants to go for a drink. He needs to get out of the house, away from the sickness and the depressing vibe. Because there are going to be days where I'm sick and I'm in bed and I can't do anything, and I don't want my family members to feel like they can't keep living their lives and they have to stop and stay home with me. So when friends say, let me know what I can do to help, it doesn't have to just be for me or for you. It can be for your family members or your pets. Maybe your pet needs to be walked, anything. And don't feel bad for asking for help, because I know for me there will be days where it'll be really hard and I won't want to even see anybody or talk to anybody. But I think it's important if you just talk out those feelings and be really honest about how you're feeling, and people aren't going to know how to respond. There's no right thing to say, and that's okay. It doesn't matter, as long as you know that you can reach out to them and that they will be there to help no matter what it is.